This is basically my first presentation ever for a sizable crowd, so yeah. And I'm going to do like the 2 things you should never do on a presentation. I'm going to do a demo of hardware, and I'm going to do some live coding. So, yeah. Who am I? My name is Åke Forslund from Sweden. That's me skating on the lake. It's very cold, and I'm just about to fall over, I think. I've been working at Mycroft AI since June. Before that, I've been involved in the project as a community member for, since the beginning of 2016. I came to the project when they asked for people with the C experience that could help update an old text-to-speech engine to a more modern version. Beside that, nothing much. Talk to me later. I can tell you all about my interests. So this talk, I will be talking about the company, the community, and the actual software. And in the abstract, there was something about voice assistants, so I'm going to squeeze that in as well. So, Mycroft AI started as the project, the Mycroft unit, started as a Kickstarter. Late 2015. Development started basically directly after the campaign quit, and started with the adapt intent parser. We're 24 people, I think, right now. 8 developers, a couple of designers, some project managers. The CEO, Joshua Montgomery, is very, very involved in the process. It's very good because he is always yelling that this isn't good enough for a customer. We need to improve the user experience, and it's good to have an engaged commander-in-chief. The logo, I already think it looks a bit like HAL, which is not the good association of AI you want. But it's actually the moon over the planet Earth. The name Mycroft is not from the brother of Sherlock Holmes. It's from a computer in the Robert Heinlein novel. Huh? Exactly. Point. Gentleman in front. And we're all about open source artificial intelligence for everyone. The aim is to create a human natural conversation experience without the privacy concerns of Alexa, Siri, and the other devices that aren't Mycroft. How many owns a voice assistant? That's a fair few. I'm impressed. So I'm going to start off the next stage by actually showing off the device. We start by taking off the cover. So, not sure if anyone can see any of this, but we basically have a Raspberry Pi, and stamped on that is a huge board that basically is an Arduino board. It handles the faceplate. There's also a sound chip there that handles a microphone in the front. And all the designs are available on our GitHub. So it's not only open software, it's open hardware as well. So, and the next stage will be me reassembling it with shaking hands, hoping it will fit again. Connecting the power, praying that it will boot and that the internet connection will be detected correctly. So we'll see. That's one of its main selling points. It's cute. And now we wait. Yay! This is a good sign. This is a good sign. Now we'll see. It hasn't complained about the internet connection, so hey, Mycroft. Oh, there. Hey, Mycroft. How are you? Okay, it's not quite started up yet. Hey, Mycroft.
I am really excited about this demo.
It's a voice assistant. You can ask it questions. Hey, Mycroft, what's the weather like in Zurich?
With a high of 15 and a low of 6, Syracuse has broken clouds and is currently 6 degrees.
That's not the correct place, but anyway, it's... let's see. Hey, Mycroft, can you spell aardvark?
H-A-R-D.
Okay. Hard. Yeah. It's hard to spell aardvark. Live demos. Yeah, it's great. Okay, let's try. Hey, Mycroft, what's the price of the Microsoft Act? It helps if you don't stutter. Let's see if it...
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Please rephrase your request.
Hey, Mycroft, what's the price of the Microsoft stock?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Please rephrase your request.
Okay. Let's try something simple then. Hey, Mycroft, what time is it?
I could not find the time is only for Syracuse. None. I could not find the time is only for Syracuse. An error occurred while processing a request in time skill.
This is going great, guys. Okay. Let's do like this. We'll reset the time zone. Hey, Mycroft. Hey, Mycroft. Oh, it's sad. Oh, we'll get back to him later. Let's go. So this is the reference hardware platform, the Mark I. It has everything you need built in the microphone, the speaker, the CPU board. We also provide a Pycroft image, which is a pre-built image for the Raspberry Pi. And it basically you need a USB mic and you need to connect it to a speaker, and you should be good to go to use this. It's also available for basically any Linux distribution. We don't have packages that works quite all right yet, but we have a very nice installer. So you can check out the GitHub repo and just run a shell script to install everything. We have an Android client to interface with it, so you can talk to your phone instead of your device here. The community. We like to call ourselves community-driven. We try to interact with the community as directly as possible. We have everything open. We're on GitHub. We try to respond to the community as fast as possible. And this is a bit tricky as a company because you really need to manage expectations. We're 8 developers. We work as hard as we can, but we can't do everything directly. So we try to communicate. We have a roadmap. We have discussion around the roadmap, which features we should focus on first, how we should proceed, and so on. So we try to use as many channels to the community as possible. We use Mattermost as a chat client. It's like Slack, but it's blue. And we have a discourse forum where everything is discussed. The developers try to be engaged in the discussion there and try to answer any help requests as soon as possible. We have also all kinds of social media accounts. So you can follow us on Twitter, you can friend us on Facebook, you can star us on GitHub. So we also try to measure our community, see what they're doing. We have try to do both qualitative and quantitative data analysis stuff. That's not really me. It's our community and developer manager, Keith Reed, who's really diving into any data we can get from the access logs to the website for how the chat is growing, how many people are in the troubleshooting channel, and see if we're going downhill or if we're maybe climbing up because only 3 persons are left in the troubleshooting channel and they're all developers. But that's a pipe dream right now. So we try to use that as best as possible. We do nice spreadsheets and nice graphs, and this is sort of interesting. It's how many units we have registered at our website, and how many. So there's 4,406 people with users with 0 devices activated, and we have about as many with 1 device. If you have 1 device, you're probably the general user. If you have 2 devices, then you may be like an advanced user, which has on your PC as well as your small device in the kitchen. And then people have more, like myself. You're probably a developer of some sort and really keen on this this stuff. So and we also try to outsource part of our jobs to the community. We have a skills repository, which is basically a GitHub repository with links to all available skills for Mycroft. And a skill is sort of a plugin that provides some functionality. The maintainer of this repository is mainly community members, and they approve and deny, mainly approve skills. These skills can then be installed into the device either by typing commands to install, MSM, or issuing an install command. And the key challenge to keep the developers is that they should be able to work on things they enjoy and things that are interesting to them. They shouldn't feel like it's a chore. It's something they have to do. So here I'm moving over to the slightly unprepared part, slightly more unprepared part. Earlier there were talks about chatbots, and natural language as an interface has been around since forever. Eliza, has anyone used that program? Yeah, like 60s or something, I think. In the 80s, there were a lot of role-playing games which were all text, and we're sort of moving beyond that now. Everyone's having their own voice assistant, so we try to. We think that since we speak most of the day to other people, we should be able to do that quite freely to computers as well, because it is a natural thing. And as the bunch of you who had a voice assistant already have probably seen is that it's sort of okay to use, right? And it's getting better. It's getting better all the time. And the projection is that it will. That was in a previous talk as well. That in 2020 we would be talking more to computers and devices than to other people. Okay, this timing is sort of excellent, halfway through, and now I'm going to go into what I really like to talk about is the technical part of Mycroft. So a voice assistant, it's not terribly complicated in the way that it basically takes records voice, converts that voice to text, analyze the text for some sort of meaning, and try to provide a response to that text. We do that we have a speech-to-text engine that's in the cloud. We have intent parsing. We have mapping intents to actions, which are the skills. And then we have text-to-speech that basically returns the answer to the user. We also have a server that provides sort of setup utility for things that aren't easily communicated by voice, like providing a password for your Spotify account might be tricky to do, or enter a UA key. So this is the sort of system architecture. On the left, you have. Yeah, it's the left. You have the hardware devices. On the right, you have the more etherical, the cloud, any sort of web API or Internet of Things devices that might be connected. And in the middle is what we call Mycroft core, the actual software, binding it all together. So the system layout, it's based around a message bus, which is WebSocket. The entire thing is Python, except for the text-to-speech engine, which is based on an old C library or a C program called Flight. This message bus has allowed us to divide everything up into several processes. One for the enclosure, which handles the specific hardware. In the case of this one, it manages the eyes, the display. In a PC, it might be desktop integration. For example, KDE has some Plasma integration for Mycroft, which goes into this. Then we have the voice client, which is handling mic input, wake word detection, and then general speech to text. Then we have the skill service, which is basically intent parsing and executing any command. We also have an audio service which handles text-to-speech and some sort of audio-related task like handling playlists for any audio-related skill and so. So the voice client. The big thing here to point out is the wake word detection. The wake word, you heard me say, "Hey, Mycroft." Yeah, he heard me too. It won't start to record and send off-site until he's heard the "Hey, Mycroft" wake word. So in the wake word arrives, it continues to record audio. It detects the end of audio by checking for silence or relative silence, rather. It sends the sentence off to the cloud service, like, "What is the weather like?" The answer comes back, and it's sent off on a magical journey on the message bus, and the voice client doesn't really care anymore. So here we have two major components that acts, and it's Pocket Sphinx, which is a local sort of speech-to-text engine. It's model-based. It's sort of not very, very good. It works for specific cases. General speak is not advisable. And then we use the speech recognition library of Python. And this is a general speech recognition library. It works with any of a number of offsite speech recognition sites like Google. You have With AI, you have IBM, Watson, TTS, and a bunch of others. And yeah. Okay, I'm ahead of myself. Good. So here I was going to have a couple of lines of code. Let's see if I can handle this. So this is a pretty simple Pocket Sphinx program. It basically listens, opens the mic, and it listens for the "Hello World" wake word, and only that. So we'll see if this works. You should print it if it works. "Hello World." Yeah. So you see, it's not quite good because it has a problem with false positives. Yeah. So that's one of the parts that we're actively developing to try to see if we can get some sort of better. Let's see if I can do the speech recognition from behind me. Let's see what files I have. Yes. This is dangerous territory. Okay, I need to bring up my sheet. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. You instantiate I won't go into the details, but the interesting part is probably that you at the bottom you see return R recognized with audio and my top secret key to with AI. And this is pretty straightforward. If you're not used to Python, it should also be pretty clear. So we're gonna try this. We're gonna try this. Yeah. Best explanation ever. Mm-hmm. No. Was it? Yeah. Oh. Okay. Give me a second. Hey, Mycroft. No. Sing a song. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah. Hello there, my name is Åke. Yeah. So, well, it's wit, it's not Google, so what you gonna get? So, we left our no, we did not. Hello. There. We left our message on the message bus. It went on a magical journey across multiple WebSockets and arrived at the skill service. So we have several layers of intent services that are called in order. Adapt, as I mentioned earlier, it was the first product we released, which is a keyword-based intent service. Recently, we released Pedacious, which is a sort of more advanced example-based intent categorization or classification service. And then we have something that's called fallbacks, which is Skill can register as a fallback, and they will just receive the entire sentence that the STT and ask, can you do something with this? They answer either no, that's complete nonsense, or yes, sure, I can, this is a question, I'll just send it to Wolfram Alpha and have it answered for me. So let's go through the small nitty-bitty details. Adapt, it's 100% Python. It's a keyword-based intent manager, meaning that it basically looks into the sentence. Is this word present? Is this word present? Okay, then it's a match. Great. It uses sort of a greedy algorithm and calculates basically how many characters out of the total was matched to a required word. So if you have a specific skill to answer the question, what is an aardvark? You set the keyword aardvark, and you set the keyword what, since it's a question. So then it takes what and aardvark and counts, this is, I don't know how many letters, but it's okay, it's about 50% of the sentence. That's a really good match. Let's launch that one. Then if there's no keyword match, it will continue and send the message to Pedacious. And this is maybe slightly more related to the topic at hand of machine learning and neural networks and stuff I don't know anything about. So it's based on a library called FAN, which is Fast Artificial Neural Networks. It's quite generic name. And it basically takes a list of complete sentences that you want to trigger, like the aardvark skill. You put in, what is an aardvark? Tell me about an aardvark. What's really an aardvark? How are there aardvarks? And this will be my next catastrophe. So I'm going to make it really short and just use the sheet. Yeah, I should have it in this VM. Query. Okay. That's not. Didn't I? What? Oh. Ha. Okay. Now I'm going to run the sheet function in a couple of minutes, but until then, we basically build an intent container. And give it a cache file. Yeah, that's an excellent name. So now we want to add an intent. So we had, what did I call it? Greetings. This is a list of greetings. So we're gonna do the IC add intent. We call it greeting. That's the name. And then we add the list of greetings. Let's see. Okay, cool. And then we train the neural network. Cool. Then we try to calculate an intent. Is this the syntax? I don't know. Cool, it's sort of thinks it might be a greeting. But that's easy when you only have like one. So we're gonna add another. So we're gonna do a party intent. Oh, what is? Damn it. So, and that's party questions. So, a couple of generic party questions, right? So we're gonna add the intent party with party questions. And then we're gonna, where are those? Oh no. Oh no. Do you see anything that's called weekdays in that list? No? Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna add an entity as well. Entity. Yeah. Looks right, right? And since we have Monday and we have Friday, is that the syntax? Oh. Huh? That's probably okay. So we add those. And then we're gonna do the training again. Cool. And now we're gonna ask it ic.calc intent want to party on Friday. Yeah, that's a party intent. And it identifies the weekday as Friday. That's great. So, thank you. So then I'm gonna not do the rest of the demonstration because time. So, we also have the software that I started working on, Mimic, the text-to-speak, which is basically Microsoft's voice. It handles a couple of different voice types. ClusterGen is like a unit selection method, it's called. Basically has a lot of samples from a lot of text and builds a huge model. Its size is in like 100 megabytes. And it sounds very much like the original person. So Mycroft has the voice of Alan Pope, the community manager of Ubuntu. So it sounds very similar to him, a bit more robotic. And then you have HTS, which is it's like a 10 megabyte size. I don't know very much about it, but it's a bit simpler, but it's very good compared to diphone voices, which are sub 1 megabyte in size. And the diphone voices sounds very, very robotic. And I'm gonna... What should I skip? Let's skip this. Talk to me later if you want to develop skills for Minecraft. It's very easy. We want to learn. As you saw, the wake word weren't very reliable. It tend to get false activations. So right now we're having in effect setting you can make either on the device, use the menu and enable learning, or you can go to the website and just click a checkbox. I want to provide data to Minecraft for useful future work. And then the wake words get uploaded, and we will analyze if it was a correct wake word or if it was just someone emptying the trash or swearing or whatever. And the next step will probably be to get feedback from the skills. If the user got response for the skill he expected. If he wanted to hear aardvark or hard, as earlier. And as a final, I should reiterate. So we're building this. It's quite fun. It's an open source AI that should be for everyone. It can run anywhere, and it responds just like a person. Yeah. Questions?
Thank you.